back for more bullet climb. 1750 rating on Lichess. We're going to try to push this to 1800. We're going to be doing 1 plus O. Let's jump in. Our DAT, 1155. Okay, Queen's Pawn game, we'll just match. And again, just like last video, we're going to try to stay up on the clock. We're going to use the fact that if we play fast, our opponent will make more mistakes than if we play slow and give them time to calculate everything. In bullet, at least, we have that opportunity. And already here, I see some opportunities. But, you know, with a pretty quick queen move, maybe I can insert a nice check to distract the king. Maybe just pull back because I don't really see the way to break through just yet. Bump the knight. Do I want to take with the... I think I take with the queen, although maybe this knight is shorter on squares. Push through, recapture. I'm liking all these transitions. The knight looks beautiful here. I'll recapture with the bishop. Wait, I could recapture with the knight too. Maybe I just stabilize. This knight is killer. He can go pawn forward, but what if I first take and then play something like, you know, something clever. Maybe pawn here. It doesn't really work because he can go bishop takes pawn. Now, maybe I take the bishop. I know it's crazy. I know it's crazy. But I am going to try and counterattack. I don't see the threats. I just don't see the threats right now. But if I wait forever, white will start to mount an attack. So I need to make this quick. White needs to be kind of careful because I'm maybe going to sink the rook in. There's also a bishop check. Ooh, that doesn't work. All right, first game down. Let's see what we have. A lot of names I really struggle to pronounce. FJ Raffles. Play another Queen's game. We're going to do Gambit? No Queen's Gambit. I'll play my usual, bring the queen out early. Hang on, I think I can pick this pawn up. And then the rook. This defense seems sketchy. Okay, maybe the knight attacks, threatening this square. And after takes, take the pawn. I'm threatening the knight, I'm threatening this knight. There's no connection. This is an interesting move. I think I take the knight first. And after he goes knight here, I pick up the rook. Okay, but then what about something like bishop here? I may have to give the queen up, but giving the queen up for the rook is actually not the end of the world right now. Because this pawn move is really good. Now his knight, I've realized, doesn't escape as easily. And then maybe bishop here. I guess he has pawn forward. I probably should have seen that. He doesn't do it. Heartbreak. Heartbreak. And at the end of all this, the smoke clears. What am I up? A rook and a knight. Okay. And he decides to trade the last minor piece. And we just need to find a way to push through. I think we're just going to push this pawn, go for some trades, take. Yeah, that's probably the right way to do it. Take with the bishop. Double rooks. Come back. Check or Ruski. Keep the king out. Okay, bishop now threatens this pawn. Might as well do it with check. Not another check. Gotta be careful, he can't run there. Okay, let's just take the pawn. There's no need to rush. Rook up. Check. Check. Gotta be careful there that I didn't stalemate my opponent, but I suppose they're... At least that wasn't going to be a stalemate anytime soon, but just keeping in mind anytime your opponent has no no pawns or pieces that can make legal moves, becomes a lot scarier that you're going to stalemate them. I think in a position like this, I might just take the bishop and then offer or counterattack the center, since this pawn move is definitely possible. And maybe in hindsight, I should have prepared this better. But I think this will be okay. After bishop pins, I can defend the knight, which is actually not even necessary. I probably should have just moved the king right away. But I did see that the idea was okay, because this pawn push to pin the knight didn't work. The rook was covering this square. Already here, I mean, there's a lot of ways I could do this. I don't have to be so slow about it, but I just don't want to get into a position where I have to fight my way out of an annoying pin. I think already knight here looks good, forces the trade of bishops, or at least it will force a trade of bishop. That is a cool move. I didn't see that. Fortunately, I had queen block. I don't have queen block. Oh, what an amazing idea. Wow, that was a really cool idea. Queen check, only move is block, bishop takes. Very slick. All right, that's fair. Very nice checkmating pattern. Pitiful Magikarp. All right, e4. Develop the knight. Develop the pawns. I think that's our third loss of the rating climb so far. That one was the most beautiful loss so far, I think. That mating pattern was very cool. I think already we're doing okay here. I'm sensing that white is moving their pieces a little bit out of play over on this side. If they push, my knight starts to swing. Already pieces are starting to mount on the king side against my opponent. And is there maybe already an idea? So maybe I start with bishop here just to, and then knight here, threatening the knight. But if you take, it's at least annoying. It doesn't quite work out to be something I want. Maybe I go bishop here. There's an idea of dislodging the defender of this square, and then rook takes. Looks pretty devastating. I think I can just take this with check. And then maybe this. And then, oh, don't want to do that. Rook here first. There was a bishop. If I go takes, queen takes, there was a skewer of the queen to the king, which I did not want to fall for. But this is doing much better. Just avoid any knight infiltrations. I gotta find a way to get my queen in somehow. I don't love that move from my opponent. Maybe, okay. They're just gonna go for a all-out blitz idea. And I just need to, try to pre-move some checks. Oh, 2 losses in a row. Oh, no. All right, this is going to be attempt number 1 at getting to 1800, I suspect. With these 2 losses, we've now fallen back to 1756. Ooh, and once again, I was hit with the charger alert. Need to quickly throw the charger on. All right. Computer is now charging. Okay, we lost a bit of time from that charger issue, but fortunately our position is looking very good. So I think I'll take the knight first, and then triple up on this knight, which can't really be defended sufficiently. And then it's just a choice of which piece to go with. Bishop looks by far stronger just because of then the total domination of the dark squares, leading to a mate threat. White may have to give up their queen. That's not doing it. This is cooked. Daps 180. All right, back to the board. Juice is loose, 1749. Let's try a queen's game. And again, we'll just play on the opposite side of the board. Again, allow black the opportunity, and in exchange, just go for some center control. We can always regain the pawn and further defend the d5 square. I'll actually do that quickly because I want to rush into a castle, maybe give a check, which is a little annoying for black to have to contend with. And then here, I think I will also check, take, and then play pawn forward. And there's just enough time to take advantage of the pin. And here, I have to calculate for a second, but this is okay. Because after queen takes queen, I can go knight takes. And already, this is a very tough position for black to be in. Up a piece, but I also have this really nice pawn. I'll try to hang on to it. Don't know how long that will really last. But I'll try my best to hang on to this pawn, since positionally this is very good. Just try to dislodge some more pieces. Maybe I give myself a square to run the bishop back, although I could maybe run the bishop up as well. Okay, how about bishop here? And then if king comes up, I'm just going to take and then pin and just keep coming up with threats. All right, that looks good. King over. Here, the threat is now, oops, go on this pawn, which can't really be defended. That's an interesting idea. I'll go knight back, knight takes. Rook up. Oops, that doesn't work because he can block. Well, we're going to have to rely on our ability to outspeed our opponent. Here, here. Okay, trade down another round of pawns. And there's the knight. Ooh, close call. Oh! Gotta work on those pre-moves. Oh, wait, I lost. Huh, I wonder if there's maybe a bit of lag on this. Oh, I guess I didn't lose. It's a draw. Okay, I'll take that. I guess I have to take that as a result, but I don't know. I could have sworn I was pre-moving those. Okay, Dominic 96, 1769. Maybe we'll go until 1775. We'll have to call this attempt number 1. And then we will push to 1800 in the next video. I want to use this pin, correctly judged by my opponent, but that would be a little annoying. I'm going to go in now. And is it too early? Let's do it. It's a little wild. I will be able to follow up with the knight takes, assuming white decides to take and have to take back. King has to come here. Knight can take the pawn. So now I have 2 pawns. I need to keep creating threats. So then the pawn is going to come here to make some more threats of pawn takes. Now we're threatening a knight. And in this position, maybe just pawn here to try to stabilize for a minute, just make some defensive moves. Okay, now knight here looks to dislodge the queen, which will have to be traded. Yep. And now pawn up with the idea of queen over to at least get a threat in. Bishop here. Okay, maybe go in for this pin. He can trade 1 pair of rooks. He decides not to, which is interesting. I'll maybe try to swing the queen around to do something else. Be pesky. Maybe keep the rooks on now for a minute, since my opponent decided not to capitalize. Oh, actually, let's trade 1 rook first. And he decides to sack, which is an interesting idea. Check. Okay, we're going to trade pawns and pick up a game on time against a very strong opponent. Okay, 1767. Nanan 231. Play our usual Scandinavian. Queen on the edge. Begin to develop our pieces. I so often play this idea. It is bringing the queen out. It is creating a threat for your opponent. But at the same time, it creates some... So again, bishop, threat that my opponent missed. That was a very strange move. It's hanging a lot of pieces simultaneously. I'll just retreat. The knight is still hanging on the edge, which is crazy, and it was dropped. My opponent is playing a very wild game. Knight here to blockade the pawn, threaten, retreat the bishop to just trade down. Already at this point, we can go into trade mode. Pull this back. I do have this square to contend with. It's a slightly weak square, so maybe try to go knight takes pawn, but first let's just castle. There's no rush. Jumping into a pin that I'll have to deal with. Okay, pawn here. No more pawns to drop. Now I think I start with knight here. I'm now realizing this works because I have the intermediate move. I just really don't want to get into this pin, as you can tell. And I finally was able to avoid it. Maybe force some trades. Threatening knight here. Okay. Go to trade rooks. Knight comes in now. Maybe there's something stronger. Not necessary. This is like a forced trade. Oh, I just realized. What am I doing? The queen over there was en prise. Okay, pick up a couple pawns. Bishop. And start the pre-move journey. Pick up this pawn. All right. 1767 plus 6. Still have one more game to get to 1775. Okay, we'll take the knight. Take the pawn. Play fast again. We're playing towards the center. I'll gladly take that trade since it doubles black's pawns in the center. Don't want to trade. Don't want to give black the opportunity to undouble. I want to victimize this pawn in the center and try to find ways to gang up on it. First attack the queen, which was missed. And once again, we're just in trade mode. Have to keep finding ways to threaten trades. I'll trade a pair of rooks. Dislodge black's very good knight, which was missed, I suppose. Already here, not much hope. I mean, if this were a tournament, I could totally understand playing it out, and I can even appreciate in some cases where you're up on time and bullet, you maybe want to play it out. But yeah, I suspect my opponent now is just going to be running out the clock, and that will be the last game of this video. Very anticlimactic, but we were able to reach 1775. In the next video, I guess we'll have to keep trying for 1800. Game is over. Yeah, thanks for watching.